Greetings, everyone. Here we are, Carol Augusto and I, Debra Neill-Baker, the serious business ladies, and we are spilling the tea this morning with Tim Belcher. And spilling the tea is our little bit of, it's an added benefit of buying your ticket to serious business in advance. And I want to encourage you to encourage your friends who say they're gonna join us, to join us sooner than later, so Carol and I can get better sleep at night.
Good morning.
Yeah. How'd you sleep last night, Carol?
You know, about the same that I do this time every year, to
Right.
be honest.
Yeah, it's countdown, and
Yes.
at this point we're usually at least 1,000 or more ticket holders, but we realize that right now we don't really have to make plans. In fact, plans are kind of more uncertainty. So here we are, and this morning we have Tim Belcher, and as we were telling, Carol and I were telling Tim earlier, this conversation is really intended to be more provocative than just our typical interviews or conversations. And spilling the tea denotes that you're sharing maybe a truth or a feeling or thoughts that maybe you haven't shared or with the greater public. So I'm not going to we're not going to introduce Tim as much as he's going to share who he is and what he does and what he thinks with all of us this morning. So,
Good morning,
Carol,
Tim.
you want to add anything to that? Or
No, I'm really looking forward to our conversation with Tim. He's just one of those people that really, when he speaks, I pay attention, and he also really inspires me, and I love to be inspired and moved. So I can't wait for this conversation with Tim.
yeah, a great way to start our week.
You guys are too nice. And thanks for having me. I'm really honored because seriously, you've had some amazing guests on. So I feel honored to be in their company. But I want to point out, first of all, that you're calling this spill the tea. We have a practice before every shift in the salon that I know a lot of salons do huddles, and a practice that we teach in the Business Academy is called Project the Day. So it's kind of a huddle. But those sports references, go figure, are lost on me. And so we call it tea time because we want to spill the tea, and we're getting the tea for the day. So I think that's funny that you're calling it spill the tea. Yeah, we're used to that. So I own 2 locations in Tampa, Florida. This is our 34th year, soon to be 35 years. And I've got a small location and a large location. And I also became a salon business coach or consultant once we launched the Salon People Business Academy. And so I was one of the co-creators for that endeavor. So yeah, and what I would like to talk about today, I think it's important what you're doing in terms of setting up serious business for success, and in terms of being honest and real. I mean, I think it's something we always should be, and it's kind of how I was raised. I think that my people, in terms of being Jewish, I think we have a reputation of being out there, being blunt and direct. So I think we always talk about, my father taught me to always talk about everything, like politics are not off the table and religion is not off the table. It's kind of our guide. Politics guide, our right and wrong and how we conduct ourselves in society. And religion, if you have a faith, this is how you respond to things. And in that being said, it's about respect. You can have any conversation, no matter how difficult or painful as long as you have great trust and respect with the other person, and you're speaking thoughtfully, and you know that you're trying to help them, it comes out okay. When your intention is pure, I think you can have a conversation about anything.
How has that philosophy fared for you? What has been the result, or how's it gotten you through this last year?
This has been a time, I hate to say that we have any kind of gratitude for a pandemic, right? But I certainly think that we have the opportunity here to see what good came of it. And if anything good came of this pandemic, this is about clarity. This is about this enormous bright light, that was shown on everything good and everything bad. If something was broken, boy, was it very clear it's broken and we got to fix it. And if something was good, it stood out, that person or their deeds just shone, and we were more proud and more excited. And this was a time to celebrate them more than ever and elevate them in our group. So that being said, yeah, with all these challenges, and we've had plenty, we had a few people that struggled with the virus. We had someone's husband who lost his job and committed suicide. And I have never been so proud of my team. I've never been so close to them. And I think we've had some of the most intimate, difficult conversations over this last year. And, we didn't lose a single employee. And I know a lot of the people that I coach and a lot of the salon owners I'm friends with, that this was a challenge. We lost a lot of team members. I didn't lose a single one. I think, just like in a marriage or a friendship, when times get tough, it either splits you apart or you really rely on each other, and you learn who your friends are. Well, we learned who our loyal team members were, and come to find out they were all there for each other. Yeah.
Wow, good for you. That says, that's a reflection. That's a reflection of you, Tim, and your leadership.
Well, thanks. I think it's everything we do is about our relationship, right? Our success or lack of, it's about how successful that relationship was, with our guests and with our team. And I hear so many complaints about, another webinar, another Zoom meeting, another virtual experience. I'll tell you, I'm old, and once I mastered Zoom, what did it take, 10 minutes? This is not a giant, complicated ordeal. Once I did master it, I have had the most intimate conversations with people. I have staff that are, going to their car for privacy and talking to me on their phone. Like we're this close, right? On two screens. We don't do that when we're in person. And they have opened up about things and personal things. I'll tell you, this has been a bond builder.
Wow. I absolutely can see that and appreciate that. And it's having me reflect on some of the experiences that I've had or people around me are having, including salon owners and even, wow. Yeah.
Well, I think, we've grown up hearing about the customer's always right and the customer's most important. And, many of us have that mantra in our salons about, guest obsession. It's not my job to be obsessed with the guest. It's not anyone in our leadership's role to be, that's not my customer. My customer is my team. Their customer is whom they're obsessed with, and they should be serving. The rest of us are support staff for the hairdresser or the spa therapist. This is not, I haven't done hair in 10 years, 11, 12 years. And my customer is my hairdresser, period. And
Um,
when I have these conversations with them, and it's all about making them successful. And when they trust that that's my goal, and my pure and soul intent is to make them be a wealth builder for them, and get them to $80,000 income earner and above, like when they know that I've got their back like that, boy, the world changes, and then they're set up for success to service the guests.
Well, everything that you're saying makes it pretty clear to me of why you didn't lose anyone. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that you really stayed connected to everybody while you were closed, and all of that. And I want to go back for a second to what you were saying about what Zoom has forced us to do. For me, I didn't work for 6 months. So, so I built some really good habits, but some really not so good habits. And then when I went back to work, it was like, wow, suddenly I have to put on makeup and do my hair and, put on either my black turtleneck or black tank top. But it did force some really good conversations with people that maybe wouldn't have happened just over the phone or texting. So thanks for making me think about that.
Yeah, I think it's it wasn't expected, because we all hear about this virtual connection being less connected, and it is, we're not touching obviously, and we're not hugging, but I'll tell you, I've never felt so exposed as when my whole head, which is sitting in a camera frame, and yours is inches away from mine, and yeah, it gets very focused in what we're talking about. There are no distractions when I'm staring at your face only, and you're at mine. And I think that's key. It's not about, we're careful to have our phone off, and we quiet kids and dogs and whatever, and we're just you and me at this point. And if we were in person, there'd be all kinds of activity happening around.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're absolutely right. When it's just like the three of us talking, yeah, we are completely focused on, and it's like being in the present. It has, yeah, it really is an exercise in being present.
Yeah, it's a good one to take way beyond the pandemic.
Yes.
To keep that good habit.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
Tim,
I
know you've talked to salon owners over the last, several months, and you really kind of stand out as, you're kind of a philosopher of our times in our industry. So knowing what you know about where other salons are, what would be your advice or coaching, or to help people? Because a lot of people are really they're spent, they're fatigued, they haven't practiced what you've practiced all of your life, and that's why you lost no one during this last year. Not many people can say that.
Well, I think at this time of clarity, and looking through the lens of a freaking magnifying glass now, like everything is magnified, and everything is should be very clear about what needs to be done and what needs to be fixed, right? And I this is the time of year that if you saw my desk right now, I'm filled with lists. I lists of people that I want to congratulate and tell them what they mean to me. Expressing gratitude. I have lists of things that we need to work on, and slowly between now and January 2nd, this is when we all start talking about New Year's resolutions. There's never been a year that is more clear that, yes, we need some very succinct lists, and then we need to calendarize all those things that we're going to be working on, and put a reasonable timeline on them. And so I think it starts with, your infrastructure and looking at your systems, and something that it took me a long time for myself to work on and get good at is to ask for help. You know, we've got the wisdom of hundreds of years of really successful people in our network, and we know how giving salon owners are and how kind we are. We hear it all the time. I mean, the New York Times always says that being a hairdresser, you know, is the best job in the world, right? Every year they come out with those lists of good jobs and what people love. We're in a kind, wonderful industry, and we need to forgive ourselves for the mistakes that we've made in the past. We need to ask for help from people, you know, in your network or people that you've just heard about, like right now. People will reach out to me, and I reach out to everyone that I know, you know, or read about, and they're so kind in their response. And yeah, ask for advice. How did you do this? What's the importance of this, and how should I go about it? I think that's a good January step. And you know, there's nothing more clarifying than serious business for me, because that's my time, and it's the time that I completely shut everybody else out, and I really listen to those speakers and buy books and set my sights for the rest of the year. It's probably cliche and redundant that I'm saying that, because I've heard it 100 times, but that really is my time to fix everything, you know, look at what I'm going to try to fix this year. And this year more than ever, we've got things to fix.
Yeah. You know, last week you said you missed the the conversation with Sam Ricotta last week, and then there was the conversation with Van, and then Eric Fisher is going to be one of our speakers on Monday, a serious business, and so Carol and I talked to all three of those owners within a week of each other, and there was and I'm hearing it with you. There's this consistent theme. I've played around in my head with what the source of it is, but there's this discipline that you have, this self-discipline that just, I think, is part of the source of everything that happens thereafter. The self-discipline. And I'm wondering if the self-discipline isn't a result of the thing that I think is the essence of our industry, and that is self-love. And I know sometimes when you hear people like to talk about we need to create self-love, but I still think in our industry there's this hesitance around self-love really starting with self. And I think that the self-discipline that I hear from you all is maybe sourced in self-love. Would you comment on that?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And I think, you know, that was on my own list for personal journey. You know, this is about what we do for our bodies and for our mind and our spirituality. You know, like we have to get those things on our calendar as well, or they're definitely last to be addressed, right? Because we're worried about, you know, team and education and training and new hires and paying the bills, and especially paying the bills this year. But yeah, if you don't have that other part and you're not addressing it, the other won't happen.
Yeah.
You've referenced calendaring it a couple of times. I really love that. I think this week, you know, this holiday week, I think it's such a great time to really reflect and look at what do you want to calendar. I know from listening to you, I'm definitely going to be calendaring this week of what I want for next year. So, and what I need to do to get there.
Well, my
Is
calendar.
that something that you practice all the time, or?
Yeah. The people who know me well, my calendar's a big joke, because I literally do fill my calendar with every single thing during the day, so that I can have reminders that remind me you've got 10 minutes left on this task, and, you know, before your next
Wow.
task. And some of my tasks well, I would never get through it all. I would never address all the calls, that I'm doing with team members and the salons that I'm coaching. And yeah, I've got a full busy calendar, but as long as it's on the calendar, it's good. And so is my free time. And once the free
So
time
is that
starts,
if there was one thing that you think is the foundation for all that you just said what is it? Is it literally the calendar? What is the foundation of all of that without that thing or that way of thinking or doing would change everything?
I think it's a pretty, it's a strong basis for getting it all in and deleting what's not important. Because when you've got, this many things on your list and not enough room, clearly you need to delete some things. Clearly you can't get to that, or you need to say no, to certain things. This is also who was that, the author, Marie, is it Condon?
Oh, yeah.
Who said,
I
if
don't
it
know if
doesn't bring
that's their
you joy.
name, but I know what you're referring to.
Yeah, we need to delete. And, this year, not only did I delete things that weren't working, I deleted people. It's like there were so many people that were cluttering up my life that were negative forces and toxic energy. And we definitely learned this year that ain't nobody got time for that.
Yes. Huh.
Yeah, I believe
no.
people do.
Yeah. And without any guilt.
No.
Exactly.
No guilt. No guilt. You use the word delete. I also wondered for a lot of people, there's a challenge in delegating too. It's another, there's deleting and delegating. I mean, some of the things you probably can't really delete. They have to be done by someone or at some point. But, there's, because that's the other thing, having a strong, surrounding yourself with, I get really humbled and kind of embarrassed when people acknowledge me because there's not that much that I do. I really don't do much. But I have an incredible family and team, and it's kind of goes back to how kind of we started here, Tim. It's the relationships. Relationship is the key to the universe. And
we have to, those people that are trusting us, that we've done all this work, to make sure that we are honorable and ethical, and that we are trustworthy. They want to be trusted as well, and they want responsibility, and they want to help. Think about the things that you knew you were performing a kindness for someone else, but how great a gift that was. I cared for my mom, before she died, and there's no better time in my life than what I did for her. And I'm sure she felt the same way. But how horrible if I had been shut out and we hired somebody for that, as an example. Meaning, we have to ask these other people to help us, and whether they're on our teams or, friends or family, and that is a relationship. And sometimes when you try to be a do-it-all, I'm definitely not a do-it-all, know-it-all. I'm a maybe know a little, do a little, like you. But yeah, you surround yourself with these people that are strong and wonderful. Well, let them take part, because it's a gift to them just to help.
Yeah. Well, Carol, you have any more questions that might evoke some more?
I don't. I love these sessions, and as always, I always get so much out of them personally, and always have a lot of things that I want to do after I get off of them. So I just want to thank you for being so open and transparent with us, and telling us, where you are and what you're thinking about right now.
Yeah. Really,
Thanks.
truly, Tim, you're such a great philosopher and thoughtful leader. And you've got, even like we were talking about the Zoom, you've got this calming energy. Like I am so calm right now from just, I know, it's like, not like calm, like go to sleep, but just like, so thank you for that. I hope other people, took this in and are going to leave this conversation with that same feeling and bringing it into their day and their week and their lives. So
Well, that is really kind. That's very kind. Thank you. Yeah, I think we need to remind ourselves that as bad as this year has been and the struggle that it's presented, we've all had really bad days. Like we have lost humans that we loved. We have lost souls that we thought we couldn't live without, and we're still here. And we got through. If you think of the worst day in your life, you got through that day. Like we're still here, and yeah, we'll get through this. This is not as dire in terms of running a salon. It doesn't have to be, but we sometimes make it that way. So yeah, my message would be get it all lined up and have a good cry, and then blow your nose, and we'll get to work, checking all your systems and making sure the infrastructure is there, and then ask for some help in how to implement that and how to build a strong culture. I think it all gets easier when you can fall back on that.
yeah. Well, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Carol. So
Thank you.
thank you everyone who joined us today, and we are preparing very excitedly. We're in our fully virtual Serious Business, and we count on you being there and share this with friends that are going to be there, but they haven't enrolled yet. We'd love to have them join us next week on Spilling the Tea. So thank you all so much. Bye, Carol.
Bye.
Bye, Tim.